So today we're just going to learn how to name things, and it's pretty simple. If I have a line and it has an A, B, C, and a D on it, there's going to be certain symbols. If I just want to name a point is just a location on that line, and a point is a very tiny, I mean, I can't draw it as tiny as it really is. It's just right there. And you would just name a point as point B. Everybody get that? Or point C. And that would be the location. Okay? If I'm going to name a segment, has a beginning and an end. There's no arrow involved in a segment. And the symbol for a segment is just a straight line over, and you can put two little dots here if you're one of those meticulous guys. But you can pick any two letters on that line will give you the segment that you're talking about. So if they tell me that segment AC equals 4, measures 4, then that means from here to there, it measures 4. Then there's a thing called array. And that symbol, some people get this confused for some reason, but that symbol is an arrow that has a beginning and then goes on to infinity and beyond, okay? So if I were to put ray CD, that would be from C through D and all the way to infinity. If I were to put ray BA, it means it starts at B and it goes through A to infinity. So the beginning letter is the letter where it starts, and then the ending letter is what it goes through to get to infinity. If you change those two letters around, it's technically wrong. So when you're doing your delta math, if they're asking you for array, it could be that you're transposing the letters, okay? The last one is a line, and the line is designated with arrows on both sides. And here, this line that I show you above there has many names. You can name it AB, BC, AC, any two letters. Pick two letters on the line, and you can put them backwards. DC, CB, you can put them in any order, and it doesn't matter. So let's name this line BC. Usually you put them from left to right, but it doesn't have to be. And that means it goes to infinity and beyond in both directions from those two letters. So you draw your segment and then put your arrows, okay? So a lot of stuff, when you come to school and you take Spanish or ASL or something like that, you are being taught a language. Well, math is another language. So you have to translate the symbols that I give you into real life words and concepts so that you can figure out how to solve the problem. All right? When the problems start getting more complicated, you also might see a lowercase letter out here, and usually it's L, M, or N, don't know why. You can also name that line L, okay? There's a different way to name it. Now let's talk about planes. A plane goes into infinity in all directions. It's a two-dimensional space that goes into infinity. The board is a physical representation of a plane, but technically it goes up to infinity, down to infinity, left and right to infinity, okay? So it just represents, because I can't draw an infinite plane. So usually it's like a rectangle or any kind of shape, really. It can be anything. And in a plane, you might see a cursive letter in the corner, and you might see 3 non-linear points. What does non-linear mean? So there are different ways to name a plane. If it has a large cursive letter, name it that. Name it plain N, okay? So you would just do, you can do this. But you can also use the 3 non-collinear points in any order. It doesn't matter. So that would be also plain A, C, B in any order. Okay, that would be the way you name it. Any of those 3 letters in any order. You got it? Let's talk about angles. When you are looking at an angle, they're going to mark it for you. A, B, C, let's say. And does anybody know a name for this angle? One of the ways is angle ABC. Now, it doesn't matter where the A and the C go in this angle, but it does matter where the B goes. The B has to be the elbow. Do you understand what I say when I say the elbow? It's huh?
Like in the middle?
Yeah, the guy where the angle is got to be B. So this can also be named CBA, but B has to be in the middle. And there's one more name for this angle. In this case, you can name it angle B, because that picture is not a complicated picture. Do you understand that? And since it's not complicated, when I say angle B, you're never going to pick this angle here unless they really specify it's the outer angle. It's always going to be the inner angle, so it's very easy to see that, okay, that it's angle B. But what happens when I have this problem here, and we have ABC, and I want this angle here? And let's put a D there. It's going to be BAD or DAB. Okay, both of those names. Can I name it angle A? Because if I named it angle A, I'd say, well, what does Miss Mellon want? Does she want this one here? Does she want this one here? Or does she want this whole thing? You wouldn't know where to go. Okay? So when it's a complicated picture, never use one letter. And I would go further that if you don't know if you should use one letter, don't use one letter, because 3 letters always works, and you're never going to get that wrong, as long as you remember the elbow goes in the middle. What is that elbow called? Does anybody know the word for that elbow? Starts with a V. V-E. V-E-R. V-E-R-T. V-E-R-T. V-E-R-T-E. It's a vertex. You remember that?
Yes.
I was going to get to the X, but I figured you might know it by then, right? So this elbow that I call it an elbow. I'm very descriptive when I teach, just so you remember things. But the elbow is the vertex. I will give you the official name, and if I don't, please ask me to. The reason you need to know how to name an angle more than anything is if I give you this problem here. And I tell you to name an angle in there, you need to know what you're doing, okay? And that's what happens. Like, yeah, the homework tonight's gonna be what I call stupid easy. But when the pictures get more complicated, the rules do not change. The problems just get harder. Remember that in math. That is a saying I will say. The rules don't change. The problems just get more difficult, okay? There's more fractions. There's more decimals. There's more ugly numbers. Radicals come into the picture. But the rules are the same. Math rules are math rules from 5th grade all the way to the end. It doesn't change. That's why there's a couple things that people teach in earlier years that I don't like, because then I have to tell you they've been lying to you. One of them is the square root of a negative number. It is an imaginary number, and some people say you can't do that when you're in earlier math, but you can. Okay, we're going to learn that later. What color do you know?
Probably do green.
Green. All right. What's the green? What's the name for green?
GCF. Or like FCG, either way.
There's one more, two more. There's four more.
Oh, would that be I?
Go all the way. Yeah, you can do. There's a bunch of them. Yeah, B, C. As long as C's in the middle. If I go from B to C to I can go from B to C to H, and I can go from B to C to F. And those are all names that I can still figure out what angle you're telling me. Okay. So there's tons of names for that angle. Can I name it angle C?
No.
No, because it's complicated. All right. So yellow can be H. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. H, F, G. Yep.
You also do G, F, H, I.
Well, you only need 3 letters.
Oh.
So you would go G,
F.
F, and any one of those letters on that line. You could do C, I, H.
Oh, then I guess I can do like I.
Very good. And all of those backwards. What letter has to be in the right place? F. Can I name that angle F? Nope. Complicated, right? So when you're looking at blue, what guy goes in the middle? I think we can figure that out, right? And what kind of an angle is it? What does it look like? It's a what? Somebody said it? It's actually a 180 degree. It's a straight line. It's a straight line. So whenever they give you 3 letters that are on a straight line, it's a 180 degree angle. So you can pick any 3 letters on that as long as J is in the middle, because that's where the vertex is. Okay? Because that's what I've marked. Yep, I could put B, J, G. Okay? So, last one, the black one, what do you got? IDE, if I were doing that, that would be right here, because I would go from I to D to E. I would be doing this. You see it? CD what? Go all the way. You got to go from C. You got to get that whole black scoop in there, right? To D, all the way down this way.
So it would be like C, D, E.
C, D, E, or F. Yep. How do you name a triangle? You would put the little symbol of a triangle in front of it, and then you would put 3 letters. So what is the red triangle's name? It could be A, B, E, and here there is no order that's important. It could be B, E, A, E, B, any of them. Any of those 3 letters in any order. I think there's 6 when you have 3 letters. You have 6 different combinations, okay? So you can name that 6 different ways. What about the blue one? So, yeah, E, C, D, in any order that you want, all those 3 letters have to be there. And then I can find that triangle, okay? What if I start getting this picture complicated, like this, and I have like a P, Q, R, and an S right there, and I want to name this triangle. What would the green triangle be? Yep, any of those 3 letters in any order.